Соединим этот мир.
Jack Everitt, THNDR GAMES, United Kingdom.
DeLorean Motor Company appears to be taking another shot at going back to the future. Did you know they recently released their plans to reinvent themselves as a maker of electric vehicles?
No.
Participating is more important than winning.
Yes.
The Super NES is Nintendo's second programmable home console released begin 90s, following the Nintendo Entertainment System NES. It was the best-selling console of the 16-bit era. Are you still playing Super Mario Kart on your SNES?
Yes.
Was it easy to orange spill your mom?
Yes.
Within 5 years, the biggest game producers in the world will implement lightning payments in games. Do you think that's true?
No.
My love for frogs is bigger than my love for Bitcoin.
No.
In February 2009, you joined Twitter. Did you also purchase your first Bitcoin that year?
No.
Gary Lineker was a better striker than Wayne Rooney.
Yes.
Do you like to have white beans and sausage for breakfast?
No.
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
No.
Welcome to the Connected World Weekly Podcast. I'm Edward.
And I'm Stef. We are ready to take you with us into the beautiful world of the Lightning Network.
Enjoy the ride. And this is episode 15 of Connected World. Stef, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing okay, Edward. I mean,
Yeah?
Well,
Oh, the sun is
personally,
shining.
The sun is shining, but I think what's happening into the world nowadays is a bit depressing, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I mean, the corona pandemic was coming to an end, and now we're in the middle of a war.
Yeah,
I
and
think it's
we're
depressing.
Yeah, exactly. And we're always very hopeful to connect the world with a mission. And that's, of course, a mission from Lightning and Bitcoin to connect the world with merchants and people all over the world. And it emphasizes other things than this. Yeah. And I think, to everyone, hang in there.
Yeah, and we have also participants from Russia, and
exactly.
They're all nice guys, and we all share the same vision about Lightning and the same passion, and that makes it a bit weird to me, to be honest. And
I think it's difficult for a lot of people. And today I met someone from Ukraine, and there are so many stories and so many so many different people. Yeah, it's difficult.
Hopefully it will be better soon, man. I think that's the correct way to
I really hope so.
Yeah, man.
That will be great. Yeah, and this guest, of this week, that's kind of weird, of course, but it's fun because it's Jack Everitt, founder and CTO of THNDR GAMES.
Yeah.
So that's a whole another thing to discuss because that's a great thing.
And I think you are a bit addicted, Edward, because in the pre-interview we always discuss our script and our guest, and you are distracted and always playing these games on the phone, and I always hear those fantastic sounds you're playing. So
and I'm not really a gamer, but this game I always have a tendency to the games are not really made for men because it's a bubble shooter, and I really like bubble shooters because you put your mind off, and then the sounds are nice. The visuals are nice, and it's just you have one goal and you can keep going. And that's it takes my head off. How do you say it? To other things and think about other things, and that's nice.
It can be a good thing also in these times.
And
so,
earning Satoshis, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what else do I need to say? I mean, that's That's the best part, of course.
And it was educational, right? For this episode.
Oh yeah,
but I really like it.
Yeah.
I still play it.
Yeah,
No, it's nice.
I just wanted to say it is educational, but it's also made you an addict. So
not only me, no.
Your wife also, your kid, and
everyone. Yeah, you really need to play this game, man.
Yeah, but nice man. Yeah, Jack Everitt, very nice guy, and very I think interesting guest. So in our second part, and in our first part, we want to talk a bit about the statistics of the Lightning Network and, of course, our Rings of Fire community. So, Are you ready, Edward?
I'm ready.
Yes, have fun, man.
Conectează lumea.
Yeah, last week, Edward, maybe you remember it, but we had a extremely busy week. And we had a little over 25 Bitcoin pushed into the Lightning Network. This week, we added 84 million sets, and we are now over 26 Bitcoin with around 864 members participating in over 107 rings. So amazing indeed.
And I think it started from Valentine's Day or something. So love is in the air, nice things, and a lot of things happen with the liquidity. It's great. We're now at block height 726,041, and the Lightning Network as a whole, if we look at the Lightning network capacity, it's 3,459, and more than 20,560 nodes in the Lightning Network. So that's,
and I see that it was one less than last week.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't see that very often. So
it's so it's such a small difference that I didn't say it, but exactly, one node difference. So there's one node that isn't there. But I don't know. It's also climbing and then staying at the same height and then climbing again. It's not decreasing much. So if it does that, then it's a normal behavior, I think.
Yeah. Hey, today's value of 1 million satoshis is $417, 380 euros, and 2,600 Chinese yuan.
Conecta el mundo.
And then for the news of this week, with a lot of things, actually. So a lot of things happen. Robo sets, I think that's really fun. If you have the Onion router, then really try it out. It's a simple and private Lightning peer-to-peer exchange, and it's Tor only. So and it uses HODL invoices to reduce fraud. So if you have the Tor browser, use it, and then go to that address. We put it in the show notes, and then you have a peer-to-peer exchange. And it's private.
Cool.
There was an article in Bitcoin Magazine, The Invisible Cost of War in the Age of Quantitative Easing. It was actually an essay from Alex Gladstein about the Bitcoin peace theory. And he talks about the differences between debt-based and commodity-based monetary systems. It's a great essay that talks about the problems that we have today with war in Ukraine, of course, and how Bitcoin, the Bitcoin standard, could be a fix, perhaps also to avoid it.
He released it a couple of weeks before, right? So,
and I think it's interesting. Well, there are a lot of takes on it, but it's nice to read about all the possibilities that the Bitcoin standard could have. We want to fix things, so that would be nice, of course. Advanced Bitcoin Developer Conference 2022 in London on the 3rd and 4th of March. It was, and the speakers have shared what they've been working on. So a lot of the development and some of the lessons they learned. They shared it there. On their website, you can watch videos and podcasts of the 2020 version. I hope the new ones will be there also to inspire and inform you guys and girls about Lightning. And then there was another topic that was very interesting because it's in Europe. Bitcoin as a legal tender in Lugano in Switzerland, Stef. So we're moving there.
They also added some shitcoins, unfortunately, but
yeah, I've read it because it was the city of Lugano in Switzerland. They said they were going to make Bitcoin legal tender. They call it Plan B. City Director Pietro Poretti co-announced it in a live stream together with Mayor Michel Folletti and CTO, and that's what you say, of Tether, Paolo Arduano. I don't know what to think about it, but I think it's an interesting thought that it's in Europe, of course, but we'll check it if it's going to be really a game changer. I think, well, they say in El Salvador, the GDP is changed by 10% and tourism by 30% after declaring Bitcoin legal tender. So they say, well, if a city in Europe is doing this, it will change a lot. And, well, I think that's maybe true. But then it's
a whole other
marketing.
I don't know. Other economy. So, well, let's find out. We will keep everyone posted.
Keep you posted.
Yeah,
exactly. And the last thing that was noticeable was Impervious. They had, Impervious API is a programmatic layer that sits on top of the Bitcoin Lightning Network. So in this case, it's a layer 3 solution. And they have a browser, the Impervious browser, and they announced on Twitter the first turn-enabled peer-to-peer video call in the history over Lightning through symmetric NAT. And peer-to-peer encrypted video call capabilities are built in directly in this Impervious browser. Yeah. It's interesting. If you are interested in knowing more about it, they have on their website, we will put it in the show notes, a button to request early access. They say a quarter Q1. So I think if you do it now, then perhaps you'll be able to use it. It's difficult to know if it's really on this layer 3 solution, but just take a look at it yourself, and then perhaps it's interesting. And for the updates, Zeus has released an update for NFC support and support for Lightning address. That's I like that a lot. LNURL Pay and fetch recommended fees from mempool space. That's a nice feature. Key send messaging also. And then Sparrow Wallet added BIP47 support and easier seed recovery. That's important. And then for Umbrel, they added 3 new apps. If you installed it yet, then you have the ability to use Jam. It's a coin join with a join market using Jam, and Snowflake Proxy. And Snowflake Proxy is there to help Ukrainians and Russian users to connect to Tor and bypass Russia's censorship. And Blescomet server is also added to Umbrel to connect Blescomet ATM if you have it to your node. I think Snowflake is a nice feature, and Jury also said to us that you not only become a Tor endpoint with this, but only an entry point. Yeah. So there is no risk of dubious things are being done from your IP address. So I hope it will help Ukrainian and Russian users. The last update I saw was BTC Pay Server. They added CPFP fee bumping and the ability to expose LNURL's comment and LNRS in invoices payment method, and several UI improvements. All the links are going to be in the show notes.
Cool.
Yes.
Okay, so let's have a look at our rings forecast, because the women's ring is full. We did, nice. We did mention it last episode that we were searching for, female node operators, and they reached out to us, and we have now 8 participants. Maybe I can take a look at which countries are involved: USA, Germany, and Holland for now. So we are now in the phase of getting all the info needed to open the channels, etc. So. Great. I think it's fun.
And Madeline Ash is inside,
Madeline
right?
Ash is participating, and a couple of women from our community, and some women who were just reaching out because we did the announcement last week, so that's nice. And again, we have plenty of spots open, all liquidities. We opened also a poll for a 20 million Satoshi ring. So that is a ring for the more experienced node operator. So if you are looking for that kind of liquidity rings, we also provide that. So take a look at our Satoshi Radio Rings of Fire community on Telegram, and you can sign up for the rings in the using the polls in the pinned messages.
Yeah, nice. Well, that brings today's
Connectez le monde.
Okay, and now talk a bit about the anecdotes, because last week we balanced, what was it again? I don't even know it again. It was 9 rings or so, Edward, last week. But,
it was
too busy,
a lot.
Man. It was a lot.
And it was so much that you can't...
we can't elaborate a bit about the anecdote. But this week there were 3 rings, and we added 2 new flags. So that's always very nice. Starting with the 500k 27th ring. There were node operators from Belgium, Swiss, Germany, and Holland. And we had the 2 million Satoshis 16th ring. And there we had 6 countries involved. And we had someone from Montenegro, the first one from Montenegro.
Nice.
And the first one from San Vincent and the Grenadines. I didn't even know that existed.
No.
But 6 countries involved in this beauty, and Guy Bruss was the ringleader and ran the Igniter script smoothly. 2 new flags added to our Wall of Fame, and well done. And thanks for joining this Ring of Fire. And then we had the 1 million Satoshis 31st ring with node operators from Mexico, Pakistan, Holland, Germany, and also Saint Vincent and the Grenadines.
And the Grenadines.
It's a lot.
I'm going to look that up.
Time flies when you're having fun. And our first ring connecting all the way up to Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. Beautiful job, because Everitt did balance this ring, and it went very smoothly. So a woman who is balancing a ring, always nice to see. So man.
She's doing a great job. Yeah. Everybody, of course. Nice.
And 34 countries involved, Edward.
That's a lot.
I was searching which countries we have added to our Wall of Fame. Yeah. I was like, okay, let's check. And it was 34 countries. So
34.
That's also amazing, of course.
So a Wall of Fame of 34 countries. That's really connecting the world.
That is really connecting the world,
I love it. Yeah. Great. Well, that brings today's report to an end, Stef. Thanks. And let's go to the lightning notes.
Yes, let's.
Connect the build.
Make sure to secure your home network. So change default passwords and use 2-factor authentication where possible. And keep your software up to date. That's also very important. Please keep in mind that the whole Lightning network is very experimental. Software like MyNode, LNURL, Raspberry Blitz, for example, and many others, and LND also, are still in beta phase. Don't blindly run terminal commands on your node if you don't understand them yourself, and especially when prefixed with sudo. And the last one is also very important. Don't use Satoshis that you're not willing to lose. So if you're not aware of all security considerations, then read into it. Educate yourself, read articles, ask for help in Telegram groups with high reputation like ours, and listen to podcasts and learn by doing. Otherwise, don't participate.
Also, you can stay informed by following us on Twitter. You can find us at Satoshi Radio ROF, and follow our Lightning leader, Jonī Kyasshu. Join our Telegram groups, Satoshi Radio, Ring of Fire, and Connect the World. And check our website, satoshi.radio. It would be nice for you to be part of our Amboss community. You can find us there on Satoshi Radio. And like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Use Podcasting 2.0 to listen to Connect the World. And you can check SATA trading for the current value. You can find all this information, of course, also in the show notes as well.
All right, let's get on to the show.
Spojte svět dohromady.
All right. Good to have you here, Jack. We're excited to have you here in our podcast. How are you, Jack?
I'm really good. Yeah, I'm really excited to be part of this podcast as well. It's going to be fun.
and yeah, you hide your laugh a bit in the 10 questions we had for you. It wasn't a serious. It wasn't that serious, of course. But yeah, we saw you laughing.
Yeah, I was trying to concentrate on the questions. I didn't want to get any wrong.
Of course. And some people we had before said sometimes no clue, but these were all answers you could give, right?
Yeah, I was confused about the sausage and bean one. What was that?
Because it's in Holland, we have like if you visit at a hotel or something, you have the typical English breakfast, and the English breakfast is always like it's like eggs with sausages and white beans.
Yeah, and it's really something so differently for us. So yeah, that's why we had a question. Yeah,
okay, got it.
But you don't like it for breakfast?
Well, it's not called white beans. That's what threw me. Like it's not. We don't call it white beans. I was like, what's a white bean?
Oh,
because they're like red, aren't they? Because they're just called baked beans, and they're in like red tomato sauce, aren't they? So they're like red looking. So when you said white beans, I was like, what?
Yeah, and that's funny because in Holland, they are called white beans in tomato sauce.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that is what they are, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what they are. Yeah, of course. So that's why we asked it like we did. But hey, cool, man. I'm really curious because it was easy to unspill your mom, and I saw on Twitter that you showed a screenshot of her asking you some questions. She purchased Bitcoin on BottlePay or something, and you said it was easy to unspill her. She is 60 years old, if I remember well. How did that go? Can you maybe tell us something about it?
Yeah, I think that was like last Christmas. She's always been interested in Bitcoin because obviously I'm involved in it quite a lot, and I'm always like, around the dinner table complaining about monetary policy. So she gets it. She does get it. We used to go on like long walks with her dog, and I would just bore her about Bitcoin the whole time. And then she was just like, I'm going to buy some. So I just told her to. I think it was BottlePay I recommended, and she just bought it. And now every time there's like it crashes, she buys more. She texts me and says she's bought the dip, so she gets it.
Yeah, but it's amazing, man. I mean, yes. So she bought it like last Christmas. So there was obviously a bit of a crash, or we usually don't talk that much about the price because the price doesn't care us that much. But I always like, especially when you can orange pill something, on a quite higher age, of course, because I think it's. I always think it's more of something like our generation is really interested in, and I like to hear the stories of obviously you orange pilling your mom. So. Yeah,
it was good. It was good. And she also downloaded Blue Wallet and like tried a few different wallets to see which one she liked. So she didn't just do it like she got into it. She's still doing it as well.
Cool, man.
My inheritance is going to be epic.
But that also means that it's becoming much easier now. Well, it will take some more time, of course, but it's easier now to show it to someone. And I also showed it my sister, and I think it's fun that you can actually use it at some merchants in the neighborhood. And we have a little surprise, Stef.
Yes,
I think it's
we
it's
have
time
something.
for
We have a little experiment because
it's an experiment.
it's on my screen says short quiz, so that means that I'm going to ask you 4 questions, and you will hear a sound after you answered, of course. And if you answer correct, you hear a sound. I think we know that the sounds are familiar to you, but. Well, let's just start with it, Edward. Are you ready with the soundboard? Yeah, because you are going to play the sounds, and I'm going to ask Jack these questions. Okay, here we go.
Wait.
Jack, how many Satoshis equals 1 Bitcoin?
100 million. 100 million.
Is Bitcoin a decentralized monetary network?
Yes.
On what date was the first Bitcoin block mined, aka the Genesis block?
3rd of January, 2009.
What was the price of Bitcoin on January 1st in 2020?
$30,000. Don't know.
Well, I had also the applause. It was $7,200.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, right, yeah. I mean, the last 2 or 3 years have just merged into one, haven't they? Let's be honest.
That's great. Hey, but the sounds Edward played must sound familiar to you.
Yeah, they were from THNDR Bay.
Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't tell like if the bubbles were meant I got it right or wrong though. So.
Cool, man. Hey, but yeah, you're obviously the founder of THNDR Bay, and that's one of the reasons we have invited you to our show. We have the part that's called 21 minutes, where we will ask you all kinds of questions about THNDR Games. But maybe it's nice that you can introduce or tell something about THNDR Games before we enter that part, so people know why we invited you.
Mm-hmm, sure, yeah. So THNDR Games is like mobile game studio where we make like casual games like bubble shooters or games kind of like Frogger or classic games. And we're just kind of adding Bitcoin to those games to make them a bit more fun, add a bit more competition to them. And we kind of believe that adding Bitcoin to these games is a really good use case for Bitcoin, because it means that we can give like real prizes to all the players, and it's not prohibitively expensive, because we can obviously subdivide a prize to like 1 Satoshi, and we often give away 1 Satoshi as a prize to our players for participating in the competitions, or as a booby prize or whatever. So yeah, we really think like it's fun adding Bitcoin to mobile games, and that's basically what we're just trying to do. Cool.
Yeah, we talked about it in our previous episodes, that services or things that you are providing that really helps to get the adoption further and further. So that's why we really wanted to invite you into our show. But as I said, we have all kinds of questions about THNDR Games, of course, and your vision on the Lightning Network. But it has to be in the part that we call the 21 minutes. So if you're ready, Jack, then we will enter that part. Are you ready?
I was born ready. I think.
Cool.
Conecte o mundo.
So, Jack, you released with THNDR Games 3 Bitcoin games, Bitcoin Bounce, Turbo 84, and THNDR Bay, most recently. And can you explain what the implementation of Bitcoin and Lightning exactly means? So how can someone earn Satoshis while gaming?
So basically in those games, we have different types of tournaments. So just think of it like a leaderboard in the game, like a normal leaderboard. But there's prizes attached to your position on the leaderboard or some other rules about the tournament. So we have one tournament which is like a lottery-based tournament where you collect lottery tickets as you play the game, and that gives you more chance of winning like bigger Bitcoin prizes. So the better you are at the game, the more chance you have of winning a big prize. And then we have like skill-based tournaments where basically you finish on the leaderboard is your prize. So it's kind of like esports for mobile games. And the way that Bitcoin and the Lightning Network fits into that is that we can have our own custody, our own Bitcoin that our advertisers pay us, or we get paid for people purchasing our games or in-app purchases. And then we can then redistribute a portion of that to the players, almost like a fun cashback system. And we can, the cool thing about it is like the money comes straight from us. There's no like third-party custodian like looking after our Bitcoin. We can connect like with channels straight to our users if we want, or, you know, literally even gamify the Lightning Network by adding some cool incentives for people to open channels with us. So it adds this extra level of like fun to gaming, which is you can win something tangible, and also it adds to the sort of social network of the Lightning Network because we're really connected to our audience and community.
Yeah, that's great, man. And how many monthly players does THNDR Games have?
It's around 50,000 at the moment. So there's quite a big community of people playing every month.
Oh, wow.
We're trying to obviously increase that
Yeah, of course. But it increased a lot already. I've read something about 15,000 some months ago or something. So it really expanded. Yeah.
Our job's basically to orange peel as many people as we can. So like, hopefully that number's going to keep going up.
Of course. Our job. Is it then increasing because of THNDR Bay? Because THNDR Bay is your most popular release, and it was released not long ago. Did you see a big increase?
Yeah, it's increasing because of we saw a big bump with THNDR Bay, and we've improved the other games significantly, because with the mobile games you can measure when people kind of uninstall the game, and if there's problems with the game, you can identify them and fix them. So less people delete the game and they stick with it. And like the cashing out experience, we're improving. So one of our core things is getting someone to download the game and then winning some Bitcoin like straight away. And if there's any friction in that reduces the growth of our product. So we're trying to make it seamless as possible.
Yeah, nice. That's important. And you said it before, THNDR Games has its own Lightning node. And we also heard that your employees have a node. This really differentiates THNDR Games in the scene, I guess. And how important is it to run a node? What kind of statement do you have with that?
Yeah, so when I first started THNDR Games, I was really kind of annoyed with Apple and Google, because they took one of my old games from another company down, and I was blocked from releasing that game. And I was like, I wish I could just have my own payments system and all of that. So I believe in this concept of the self-sovereign app developer, which I don't think is really a thing, but that's basically what I was when I started THNDR Games. I was like, I'm just doing this on my own. I'm going to put the apps up on my website, because they were just Android downloads to start with. They weren't even on any app stores. So I think it's really I don't think it's that hard to run a node. I started doing it for THNDR Games 2 years ago. It took me 2 weeks to figure it out. There was no documentation. So I feel the statement I'm making is if I can do it, anyone can do it. And it's not there's not going to be loads of people who could work for these Bitcoin companies. There's all plebnet are literally training themselves to get a job at a company running the Bitcoin nodes. It's there's so much talent out there already who could just literally work at my company and run my node for me instead of me doing it. So,
absolutely. We see it also every day, right, Stef?
Yeah, we see it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. Well, it's like a magnet, and all those people come into those communities. It's great to see. Yeah.
But I was thinking, Jack, because you obviously you're managing your own node, but it isn't that important for you to have balanced channels or the only thing that matters to you, I think, but maybe it's an assumption, but is to have local balance, right? So you can send satoshis. You don't really need to receive satoshis, right?
Yeah. So we don't accept any payments in Bitcoin at the moment. So it's not that important on the receiving side. We just it's literally all of our traffic is one way. So we do just send out Bitcoin. So the way we optimize is we analyze where our users are asking us to send their Bitcoin, and we open channels based on that traffic, so that we're making sure I want to basically get the fees down as low as possible, because I just find it fun. And then so I'm just we open channels based on that. But we are thinking of gamifying the experience a little bit, where we want to do something with our community, in people who have got a node and they play our games. We want to try and do something with them, open channels with them, and incorporate it into our game somehow. We haven't really fleshed it out, but I'm really keen on doing something like that.
Yeah, great.
Some way to gamify the Lightning Network adoption, I think, would be really cool.
Yeah, exactly.
And talking about maybe use your own node, because you can now create a THNDR account with signing in with Google, Apple, and Twitter, or you can choose to play the game anonymously. But will it be possible in the near future to make an account by email, or just sign in with your node for increased privacy? Is that something your guys are taking?
That's on the top of my list, but it's kind of not many people want that feature or even ask for it. So it's almost like a vanity project to add it. So I have like so many other, like more people would rather a new game than me working on that. So it's like always gets pushed to the bottom.
That's right.
But yeah, I really want to have that feature in there as well. It is on the roadmap.
I really
just like,
and I really think, well, answering to the Bitcoin community, there are a lot of people there, hardcore Bitcoiners that really would love it. But of course, it's a two-way thing. So you have those kind of people, and you have all those pre-coiners to give them an awesome game and also educate them on Bitcoin. To grow as a business and to be able to develop more new games in the future, what does THNDR Bay or THNDR Games do to make it profitable? Because I saw the ads, of course.
Yes, so the business model was based on ads. So we're like a normal mobile game studio. The thing we need to really do is we've got to really compete against all the other game studios that are out there. And we kind of have a disadvantage because we're giving away some of our profits, whereas they're not. So it's quite a difficult business model to get right. And it's like there's a Venn diagram of like what features and what types of games are going to work. So first of all, we're trying to figure out like what games are going to be profitable and competitive against games that don't have Bitcoin. Because what people don't understand about mobile games is that they don't compete on the quality of the game. They compete on how good their advertising campaigns are, like how good they're because it's all about how cheaply you can get a download for your game. That's where we have to compete. So
that's very difficult.
The path to profitability is tricky, but we're going to just basically optimize our ad experience. We don't want to give we're trying to work on new advertising methods that haven't been done before, which are privacy focused, and hope they're not out yet, but hopefully we can do something cool where we can actually make more money from the ads and they are actually not as intrusive to the users as well. We'll see.
That sounds nice.
I'm sure there's something in the Lightning Network that we can use that can become our competitive advantage against the incumbent.
Exactly.
But does the success of THNDR Games then maybe depend a bit on the adoption of Lightning, or?
Yeah, it does. That's something I do think about because we're like the first people really out there trying to onboard people to the Bitcoin Lightning Network. We don't support the Coinbase, like a lot of other mobile games support Coinbase cash out. So you have to have a Coinbase account to withdraw your Satoshis to. We don't actually support that. So like our limitation is like how many people are already in the Lightning Network and then how many people are willing to learn about it. And there's a lot of competition with like blockchain games. Like a lot of blockchain games have huge budgets and they're really taking up the mind share of like, it's really hurting the adoption of mobile games with Bitcoin actually, because we're not really able to compete with them on their like ridiculous budgets and they print their own money in their game, don't they? So.
Well, I think the consistency that you guys have and the connection with the social side of community of Bitcoin, I think that and Lightning, I think that will will be a good
thing over time,
for the
hopefully.
future. Exactly. Do you pay your employees also in Bitcoin, or is that difficult?
I actually I get paid in fiat and I convert some of my money into Bitcoin with as soon as it hits my account, it goes automatically converted. But we do have one employee who does get paid 100% in Bitcoin. It is tricky because you have to, your banking partner, we still have to have a bank, and banks do not like you send, if you're a company, they do not like you sending money to Kraken or something. So every time I pay this person, I have to phone my bank, relationship manager and answer about 100 questions just to pay this person, send the money to Kraken to pay this person. So yeah, it's a bit crazy. I want everyone to get paid. I want my company to be like Bitcoin native, where the only reason we have a bank account is to convert to pay tax or something.
Yeah,
and everyone gets paid in
Bitcoin,
and then it's up to them if they transfer it back to pounds or euros. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think because Peter McCormack from the What Bitcoin Did show, he also had, of course, the problem you are facing now. But he found like a bank who is willing to help him with that, with his business model and also his dream of living on a Bitcoin standard. So it must be possible.
Yeah, there are banks out there. Yeah, there are banks, but they charge quite a lot of money unless you're like Peter McCormack, when basically you're an advertisement for them, aren't you? But if you're not Peter McCormack, the fees are quite expensive, like to say the least.
Yeah. And there are some also some other games to earn satoshis, like Lightning Crush and Sarutobi. Do you think there will be more games in the future that let you earn sats? Will it be inevitable?
Yeah, I think so. I think there'll be quite a lot of like there's already loads. There's not just those. There's the ones I mentioned that like use the Coinbase cash out. There's probably like 100 games that use that method. That has a lot more, because there's more adoption of Coinbase than there is the Lightning Network. I think it's like that's why those games are more like have a lot more downloads. So yeah, I think so. I think there will be a definite like vertical in gaming, which is cashback for games, basically. And there'll definitely be a vertical for gaming, which is like wagering, like me versus you guys, and we have a bet who can be the best at THNDR Bay, for example, who can get to the level the fastest or whatever. But that will be dependent on how many people actually adopt Bitcoin, of course.
Of course. And if you only look at the games, what is or the company as a whole, what is the biggest difference you think between those other companies and games and yours, perhaps in the goals which you want to achieve?
Yeah, I think the difference is that we run our own nodes, and every time we get a new employee, we get them a node, and we're all connected and like have channels with each other. So we're really like Bitcoin is in our DNA, whereas other companies, I would say I would call us a Bitcoin games company, and then other companies are gaming companies with Bitcoin rewards. There's like it's kind of like this slight difference where you're native to Bitcoin or you're not. That's the differentiator between us. And also, I think because it's so easy to add Bitcoin to games with, like, you could use any like custodial services to hook it up to your game. Not many other game studios will have an incentive to bother setting up their own node. They'll be like, oh, I'll do it one day, and they just never will. Whereas we've already done it because none of these services existed when I started. So yeah, we'll probably still be the only one rocking a node for a long time. I don't see anyone else being incentivized to do it. So I think that's going to be a differentiator for us.
I think that's a huge difference. But I think it's also, it's something really awesome. And I think, we always say you have to have skin in the game, but I think this goes beyond having skin in the game. I mean, you're teaching the ones you work with what Bitcoin is, but also let them experience how everything works. And I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Because like I said, I want them all to get paid in Bitcoin one day. So how am I going to achieve that mission unless I orange pill them as soon as they start and say, like, here's your node. Don't talk to me until you've set it up, and then we'll talk. And I might even make it part of the interview process, like the final stage.
And is your mom already running her own Bitcoin node then? Or?
Oh no, not. She's doing quite well though, because she's like backed up her keys and all of that stuff. So I think maybe she'll do a node one day. Maybe I'll get it for her for Christmas.
Yeah,
why not?
That will be a nice goal, man.
But the thing is, like, she like what your parents are like. They like forget their passwords and they just can't. I don't think I want to do customer support.
No, exactly. Yeah, your time is very limited. So, hey, and what kind of game would you like to make in the future? Like an RPG or maybe a sports game, or what are you working on?
Yeah, we're actually at THNDR Games working on the sort of all types of games. We're trying to figure out what's going to work best. So we're doing every single genre of game that exists on mobile. We're going to try, but my dream would be to work on something like a I used to really like Championship Manager, the football game. I don't know how I could add Bitcoin to that. Like, I think it'd be really cool if you literally like had a version of Championship Manager where everyone had a node and they all staked their own money and they bought the players and they competed like 4 players, and then at the end of the season is like whoever wins the prize money at the end. Quite cool.
That sounds great.
I'm also thinking about how FIFA is doing it with like the exchange of soccer players and then paying with your own satoshis, but I think there will be some regulatory issues come by then.
But that would be nice because it has to be with prizes, and then you can use your satoshis. That sounds nice.
Yeah, I think the one thing is though, like I hate losing my satoshis, so I don't know if I'd actually enjoy it.
Exactly. Oh, that would be really awful. But I was thinking about the social side of it. Are you planning on integrating multiplayer gaming?
Yeah, so we kind of do. So our concept at the moment is, I would call it hyper casual esports. So it's almost multiplayer because you're competing on an asynchronous leaderboard. So it's kind of a casual multiplayer. But we do want to do multiplayer gaming because it's a very sticky genre. And it's like competitive players, they stick around for longer. So it is something we're definitely looking at, but we haven't got anything coming up soon with multiplayer. But I think also multiplayer games are very difficult to build and manage. We're really concentrating on like the smaller games first, and then proving that works, and then we'll move on to bigger things.
Is it because that you have to run a server for connecting those players, or?
Yeah, and the game has to be designed around the multiplayer experience because you would end up with like lag, or like the type of game you want to build might not work. If like it's also like geographically, like different servers, people competing around the world is a problem. Especially like in Bitcoin, people tend to use like VPNs, and the ping will be really bad, and like it would just be loads of problems, I think.
Yeah. I can imagine that. And I saw.
Sorry, but I'd love to do it.
Yeah, of course. Well, maybe in the near future, maybe if your company is growing, then someday it will happen, of course. Mm-hmm. And I saw on Twitter that you were asking Jack Mellis all the time that he needs to implement LNURL to Strike. Will that change the user experience a lot? And can you tell us more? I think Jack Mellis listens to our show, maybe. So maybe if you can explain to him
okay, Jack.
why this is so important and why this is going to make a big difference for your users. Well, maybe he will implement it then.
Yeah. Okay, Jack, if you're listening, this is important because. Like he knows that LNURL is really good. I don't know what the reason is he's not integrating it, because he's integrated it in Zap, his other older wallet, that's kind of I think discontinued actually, but that it's in there, so he knows it's good. He knows all about it. I don't know why he doesn't integrate it, but it's good. It would be really good for us because we have mobile games that are on a phone, and the user has a mobile wallet which is on a phone, and we don't want the users to have to go to their wallet, create an invoice, copy some crazy string, paste it in our wallet, and then potentially do it wrong. So we really want to have LNURL because it just completely cuts that process out and it makes it much more streamlined for our users. That's the only reason we want it, because it's for the user experience.
So important, user experience, exactly. And we're at the user experience. For pre-coiners, you make it super easy to learn about Bitcoin and Lightning, and it makes it fun and entertaining. These games are now targeted for 18 plus. Is it also possible, do you think, to make a Bitcoin game for children, or is it too difficult for legal restrictions or something?
Yeah, there's not really any particular legal restrictions that we just went for 18 plus just to be on the safe side, because when you add the Bitcoin to games, it can become it's not gambling, but it kind of has this addictive nature, which I wasn't comfortable exposing to children with And I think it's still a fun way for children to earn some Bitcoin. It's that balance between teaching a child about Bitcoin and then making them too addicted to a game which is already addictive. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we just kind of wanted to protect the children a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you're a parent, I recommend they play our games with parental
because it
guidance.
is appealing. I saw it myself that our child also really loved the THNDR Bay app. So yeah.
Good.
Verbind de wereld.
We failed to get all the answers to our questions. We heard the gong, of course. So the other questions, well, we gonna pass it along to another time, another show. If you would like to be on it again, we would love it.
Of course.
Spojte svět dohromady.
And Jack, yeah, we have still one question left for you, and it was from our previous guest, Gijs van Dam. And Gijs is a lightning scientist. Edward will play the audio file, and then you may answer it, of course.
Yep, there it comes.
I would like to ask him, what do you think about the concept of Bitcoin citadels? And how does the concept of living together in a citadel, how does that relate to the concept of decentralization?
Right. Well, I don't like the concept. It just reminds me of Game of Thrones. Basically, instead of Bitcoin in Game of Thrones, they had gold, and it was like whoever had the most gold wins the war. And it just centralizes your gold into one like honeypot. And we'll just end up literally in a society like Game of Thrones where everyone congregates around the citadel who they think is gonna like basically protect them. So yeah, I don't think it decentralizes anything, centralizes it, and creates even bigger tribes that we already have a conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the same. I think I don't know if you're familiar with the mesh citadel. So it's like the opposite, so that you live in harmony together and you rely on each other.
And you don't live on an island isolated, but it's more together and with distance, but attached with each other's lightning node. And you also form.
The point of the Bitcoin is I was to say the point of Bitcoin is to get rid of borders. Like, why would you have a citadel? It's like the opposite. So.
Exactly.
And there are big walls that are being the borders then. So
build bridges, not walls. That's what Sol Exporter said from the Mestadel concept. So I think, you're absolutely right. That's the most important thing. Next time, we have a new guest. He is Hakuna. It's an IT specialist from Germany, and he runs a very successful routing node and is in the top 50 boss score. We want him also to ask a question from you. Do you have a question for him?
Yes, I would like to ask, if you could add Bitcoin to any game, which game would you choose?
Great.
Cool.
Curious about the game.
I will go for FIFA then, because we just mentioned it, and I played it a lot in my younger years, but I will definitely play it again if they integrated it there, or maybe Warzone. Yeah, there's so much to choose of, man. It's a very difficult question, Jack.
Yeah, it is.
It's
really what you played as a child, isn't it?
Yeah.
Connetti il mondo.
Well, Jack, thank you for being with us. And where do our listeners can find THNDR Games and stay up to date for more info? We can put it in the show notes, of course.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the best place to connect with us is on Twitter, and our Twitter handle is THNDR Games. It's thunder without any vowels. And from there you can probably find our website, which is THNDR.gg, and find our Telegram groups and Discord groups, and I'm on there every day chatting to everyone, so if you want to chat to me in real time, you can put me there.
Cool, man. Well, thanks again, Jack. It was a very interesting talk, and
yeah, I think I played THNDR Bay already, but I will definitely check out your other games, and really looking forward to what you're going to build in the future, man. Thanks, and thanks of course for
Cheers, guys.
helping everyone to be a bit more orange pilled, of course. That's great.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thanks. And thanks also for listening, and thanks for to all members participating in Satoshi Radio Rings of Fire, and thanks to everyone helping us to connect the world with us. And if you want to support us in our mission, then you can donate using the bot in our Telegram group, and don't forget to like and share your content on your favorite platform or Podcasting 2.0 app, and keep those nodes running, sats flowing and rings burning, and see you all next week with Hakuna on this same Lightning channel. Zajan, Jack.
Vaarwel.
Bye.